I was reviewing acquisition reports in my corner office at Meridian Real Estate Holdings when my phone rang at exactly 2:15 p.m. on a Wednesday afternoon. The caller ID showed Jennifer Mitchell, and I immediately felt my stomach tighten. My sister Jennifer only called when she needed something or when she was about to deliver bad news. Given that our mother had been in declining health for the past year, I braced myself for whatever crisis was coming. "Hello, Jennifer," I answered, setting down the portfolio documents I'd been analyzing. "Sarah, I'm calling to let you know we're selling Mom's house tomorrow morning. The realtor has a cash buyer lined up and we're closing immediately. Don't bother coming by to say goodbye or take anything. We've already packed up what we want." I felt my blood pressure spike instantly. "What do you mean you're selling Mom's house? Since when do you have the authority to make that decision?" "Since Mom gave me power of attorney last month. She's getting worse and the house is too much for her to maintain. We need the money for her care." "Where is Mom going to live?" "We found her a nice assisted living facility. Sunset Manor. It's perfect for someone in her condition." I almost laughed out loud. Sunset Manor. The same facility I'd purchased 3 years ago as part of my senior care portfolio expansion. "And you didn't think to discuss this with me first? Sarah, you live in California now. You have your own life. This is a family decision and frankly, you haven't been around enough to have a say in it." The casual dismissal in her voice was infuriating. For the past 3 years, I'd been quietly covering Mom's medical expenses, property taxes, and home maintenance costs through a trust fund I'd established. Jennifer had no idea that every bill that kept Mom comfortable in her beloved home was being paid by my real estate empire. "Jennifer, I think you should check the property records before you do anything irreversible." "What are you talking about?" "Check the county property records. Look up 1247 Maple Street." There was a pause. I could hear typing in the background. "It says the property is owned by Sunset Properties LLC. That's impossible. Mom owns the house." "Actually, she doesn't. The house was sold 6 months ago." "You're lying. That's impossible. Mom never mentioned selling." "She didn't sell it, Jennifer. I bought it. Sunset Properties LLC is my company." Complete silence on the other end of the line. "Who owns that company?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. I smiled even though she couldn't see it. "I do." The silence stretched for nearly 30 seconds before Jennifer found her voice again. "That's impossible. You work in marketing or something. You don't own real estate companies." "I own 47 properties across 3 states, Jennifer. Residential developments, commercial buildings, senior living facilities, and yes, Mom's house. Total portfolio value of $340 million. "You're lying." "Am I?" "Check the business registry. Sunset Properties LLC, registered owner Sarah Elizabeth Mitchell. That's me, your sister who apparently doesn't have a say in family decisions." I could hear her breathing heavily. "Why would you buy Mom's house without telling us?" "Because 6 months ago Mom was 3 months behind on her mortgage payments. The bank was starting foreclosure proceedings. She was too proud to tell either of us she was struggling financially." "That's impossible. Mom always said she was fine." "Mom was lying to protect your feelings. She'd been using her Social Security and Dad's modest pension to cover your son's college tuition because you told her you couldn't afford it." Another long pause. "How do you know all this?" "Because I pay attention, Jennifer. Because I actually read the financial documents Mom sends me. Because when she mentioned tightening her belt last Christmas, I investigated and discovered she was sacrificing her own security to help your family." "So you just bought her house?" "I bought her house, paid off all her debts, established a trust fund for her ongoing expenses, and arranged for professional home maintenance. She gets to stay in the home she loves, and she thinks it's all being covered by an improved pension plan Dad supposedly arranged before he died." "She doesn't know you bought it?" "No, and she's not going to know unless you decide to tell her. I wanted her to feel secure and independent, not like a charity case." "Sarah, I had no idea about any of this." "Of course you didn't. Because you never asked. You just assumed Mom was fine and made plans to sell her house without consulting anyone. The realtor said we could get $280,000 for it. The house is worth $340,000 in the current market. Your realtor was lowballing you by $60,000. How could you possibly know that?" "Because I'm not just your sister who works in marketing or something. I'm the CEO of Meridian Real Estate Holdings. I've been building this company for 8 years while you thought I was just playing around with a job. I pulled up my computer and accessed the detailed records. Jennifer, in the past 3 years, how much do you think Mom has spent on medical expenses? I don't know. Maybe $15,000? Medicare covers most of it. $78,000. Her supplemental insurance was canceled when she couldn't afford the premiums. That's impossible. Property taxes on her house? Those are like $3,000 a year. $4,800 annually, plus she was 2 years behind when I took over. Home maintenance and repairs in the past 3 years. She never mentioned any major repairs. New roof, HVAC system replacement, plumbing updates, electrical work to bring everything up to code. $47,000 total. I could hear her processing this information. Who paid for all of this? I did. Through the trust fund I established for Mom's care. She thinks it's Dad's pension benefits, but it's actually my money ensuring she never has to worry about finances. Why didn't you tell us? Because I knew this would happen. I knew you'd start seeing me as the family bank instead of your sister. I wanted to help Mom without changing our family dynamics. Sarah, I feel terrible. I had no idea you were doing all this. I know you didn't. But that's exactly the problem, Jennifer. You made major decisions about Mom's life without bothering to understand her actual situation. What about the assisted living place? Sunset Manor is an excellent facility. I should know, I own it too. You own the assisted living facility? I own 7 senior care facilities across 3 states. Sunset Manor is my flagship location. If Mom ever needs that level of care, she'll receive the absolute best treatment. But she's not ready for that yet. The realtor said Mom couldn't live alone anymore. What realtor, Jennifer? Who exactly have you been working with? Peterson Real Estate. They specialize in senior transitions. I pulled up my industry contacts database. Jennifer, Peterson Real Estate is owned by my biggest competitor. They make money by convincing families to sell valuable properties below market value, then flipping them for profit. What are you saying? I'm saying you've been manipulated by people who saw an opportunity to make money off our family's situation. But Mom seemed confused when I visited last week. Mom has been depressed because she thought she was going to lose her house. Depression in elderly people often looks like confusion or cognitive decline. Oh my God. What have I done? Nothing irreversible yet. But Jennifer, you need to understand something important. Mom doesn't need assisted living. She needs family support, medical care, and the security of staying in her own home. Can you prove all this? About the house, about your business. I forwarded her the property deed, the business registration documents, and the trust fund statements. Check your email. 5 minutes later she called back, crying. Sarah, I'm so sorry. I had no idea about any of this. The realtor made it sound like Mom was in crisis. She was in crisis, but not the kind that required selling her house. She needed financial support and medical attention. What can I do to fix this? First, call Peterson Real Estate and cancel any agreements you've signed. Tell them the property is not available for sale. Already done. Second, we need to have an honest conversation about Mom's care. She needs regular check-ins, help with medication management, and transportation to medical appointments. I can do that. I should have been doing that all along. Third, you need to understand that I'm not just your little sister anymore. I've built a successful business and I've been taking care of our family's financial needs for years. I feel so stupid. I've been treating you like you were still 25 and working your first job. I understand why. I've been deliberately quiet about my success because I wanted to avoid exactly this kind of conversation. What kind of conversation? The one where family relationships become about money instead of love. Sarah, can you tell me about your business? I want to understand what you've accomplished. I leaned back in my chair looking out at the city skyline. 8 years ago I started with one small rental property. I lived in the basement and rented out the upper floors to cover the mortgage. I saved every penny, reinvested everything, and slowly acquired more properties. How did you grow so quickly? I specialized in distressed properties, foreclosures, estate sales, properties that needed significant work. I'd buy them below market value, renovate them myself initially, then rent or sell them for profit. You did the renovation work yourself? Nights and weekends for the first 3 years. I learned plumbing, electrical work, carpentry, painting. I wanted to understand every aspect of property management. When did you start the senior care facilities? 3 years ago, when I realized there was a huge need for quality senior housing that treated residents with dignity. Too many facilities are profit-focused rather than care-focused. How many employees do you have now? Across all my properties and facilities, about 300 people. We provide jobs for contractors, maintenance staff, nurses, administrators, security, housekeeping. And you've been doing all this while taking care of mom's expenses? Taking care of family is why I work so hard, Jennifer. Everything I've built is ultimately about making sure the people I love are secure and comfortable. I feel like I don't even know you anymore. I'm the same person I've always been. I just have more resources now to help solve problems. Why didn't you tell me about the mortgage issues? Because I knew you were struggling with your own family's expenses. Your husband's business has been having problems, your son's college costs are enormous, and you've been working 2 jobs just to stay afloat. How do you know about David's business? Because I pay attention to our family, Jennifer. I know your mortgage payment increased when you refinanced. I know your son's tuition went up this year. I know David's construction company lost 2 major contracts last month. You know about the contracts? I know because I've been quietly steering business toward David's company when I can. 3 of my renovation projects last year went to his crew. David never mentioned that. As I asked him not to. I wanted him to feel like he was earning the work based on merit, not family connections. Sarah, you've been taking care of all of us. That's what family does. But it works both ways. Family doesn't make major decisions without consulting each other. You're right. I should have called you before talking to any realtors. Yes, you should have. But more importantly, you should have been checking on mom regularly enough to know she was struggling. I visit every couple of weeks. Visiting isn't the same as paying attention. When was the last time you looked at her mail? Checked her refrigerator? Asked about her medications? I don't know. Jennifer, mom is 74 years old. She needs more support than occasional visits. What do you suggest? I suggest we work together to create a proper care plan. Regular check-ins, medication management, transportation to appointments, social activities. Can you help me figure out how to do that? Of course. That's what I've been trying to do all along. And the house situation? Mom gets to stay in her house for as long as she's able. When and if she needs more care, we'll discuss options together. As a family. What about the trust fund you mentioned? The trust fund continues. Mom will never have to worry about money for the rest of her life. Sarah, I don't know how to thank you. You don't need to thank me. You need to be a better daughter. We both do. What do you mean? I mean that writing checks isn't the same as providing emotional support. Mom needs both of us to be more present in her life. You're right. I'm going to fly out this weekend. We'll visit mom together and create a proper care plan. That sounds perfect. And Jennifer? Yes. No more major decisions without family discussion. Ever. Understood. And Sarah? Yeah. I'm proud of you. What you've accomplished, what you've done for our family. I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. 3 months later, I was having Sunday dinner at Mom's house, a tradition Jennifer and I had established after the house crisis. Mom was thriving with our increased attention and support. Her depression had lifted significantly once she felt secure about her finances, and her apparent confusion had completely disappeared. You know, Mom said as we cleared the dinner dishes, I've been thinking about what I want to do with this big house eventually. What do you mean, Mom? Jennifer asked. Well, I love living here, but someday I might want something smaller. Maybe one of those nice senior communities where I could have my own apartment but also have activities and friends nearby. I smiled. There are some excellent communities like that, Mom. When you're ready to explore options, we can visit some places together. That sounds wonderful. I'd want to make sure it's a place that treats people with respect, though. Not one of those warehouses where they just stick old people and forget about them. I can personally guarantee that any place we consider will treat you like family, I said. How can you guarantee that, dear? Jennifer and I exchanged glances. We'd agreed not to tell Mom about my business unless she specifically asked. Because your daughters will make sure of it, Jennifer said diplomatically. I'm lucky to have such caring daughters. You know, sometimes I worried that you two were growing apart, living such different lives. We're closer than ever now, Mom, I said truthfully. Good. Family is the most important thing. Everything else is just details. After dinner, Jennifer and I took a walk around Mom's neighborhood, the same streets where we'd grown up riding bikes and playing with neighborhood kids. Sarah, can I ask you something? Of course. Do you ever regret not telling us about your success sooner? I thought about it carefully. No, I don't regret it. The money was never the point. The point was making sure our family was taken care of. But we could have been helping you, supporting your business. You're helping me now. By being present for Mom, by understanding that we're a team. I still feel guilty about the house situation. Don't. You were trying to do what you thought was best for Mom. You just didn't have all the information. How do you do it? Balance building a business empire with taking care of family. Honestly, it's not easy. There are days when I work 16 hours straight, then fly across the country to check on a property or handle a crisis. Do you have any kind of personal life? I laughed. Not much of one. But I'm working on it. Success doesn't mean much if you don't have people to share it with. You should bring someone to Sunday dinner sometime. Maybe I will when I find someone who understands that family comes first. They'll understand if they're the right person. I hope so. Sarah. Yeah. Thank you for never giving up on us. Even when we didn't deserve it. Family doesn't give up on family, Jennifer. That's the whole point. 6 months later, Mom had made the decision to move to Sunset Manor. Not because she had to, but because she wanted to. She'd visited the facility several times and fallen in love with the community there, the activities, the friends she could make. I want to keep my house though, she told us over Sunday dinner. Maybe you girls could use it for family gatherings or maybe someday for grandchildren to visit. We'll keep it in the family forever, Mom, I promised. Good. It has too many happy memories to sell to strangers. The transition to Sunset Manor was seamless. Mom had a beautiful 2-bedroom apartment with a view of the gardens, access to all the activities she wanted, and the peace of mind that comes from having medical care available if needed. Jennifer had taken early retirement from one of her jobs to spend more time with Mom and had started helping me with some of the administrative aspects of my business. I never thought I'd say this, she told me one day as we reviewed property management reports, but I love working with you. You've built something amazing. We've built something amazing. Business is better when it's family business. Do you think Mom knows about everything you've done for us? I think Mom knows what she needs to know. That her daughters love her and will always take care of her. That's enough, isn't it? That's everything. As I looked around the dining room at Sunset Manor that Sunday, watching Mom laugh with her new friends and Jennifer helping serve dinner to other residents, I realized that the best investments aren't always financial. Sometimes the best investment is simply refusing to give up on the people you love, even when they don't understand their own value yet. The Mitchell family had finally learned what it meant to actually be a family, and Mom's house on Maple Street would always be waiting for us to come home.